Hi all, welcome to week 4 of English 7E Creative Nonfiction. This week is all about your first major writing project, essay number 1. So get cracking on that if you're not already cracking. Um, First, let me just say a couple things about how I think the course has been going so far from my perspective. Obviously, we might have different perspectives, but for what I've been seeing, let me just say a few things. So first of all, I thoroughly enjoyed reading everybody's journals. They've been a lot of fun. This last week was really fun to see pictures of people's scribblings in their notebooks. I hope you found that exercise rewarding. Again, if you didn't find that practice of keeping a journal useful, you don't have to keep doing it, right? This part of this course is all about experimenting with your writing. So I just want to thank you all so much for sharing so much of yourself with me through your writing. I know it can be really scary to express yourself fully in this way, in a creative way. So please rest assured that I take your honesty seriously, and I respect all your efforts. Okay. Number two, as this is a creative writing course, it is important to take advantage of these journals and turn them in every week. What other course are you going to take where you can earn 13% of your grades just for experimenting with your writing in this way, right? Just for scribbling notes in a notebook over the course of a week, right? I mean, that's worth uh, about a percentage point of your final grade. So, it's a unique kind of opportunity that you get in a creative writing course to do this kind of work on yourself, right? This is for yourself. So, let me just say again, if you complete the journals and you vaguely follow the instructions, you're going to get close to, if not 100% on every one of those journals, right? I'm not marking them or grading them in the same way that I grade the quizzes, right? They're just meant to these journals are just meant to help you play with new ideas, new techniques, new tools for your writing, right? So if you complete them and put in some effort, you get 100%. I'm not, marking you down for grammar stuff or for, uh, you know, bad ideas or something, right? There's no such thing. This is your space within this course, creative writing course, to experiment with your writing voice. And then the third thing I just wanted to mention, the discussion posts have been really engaging and thoughtful so far in the last couple weeks. We're just starting the course. I assume that they'll go on that way, of course. They've been thoughtful, they've been engaged, but I've noticed that many students aren't posting until later in the week, like Friday or Saturday sometimes. And they're not technically due till Sunday, so that's technically okay. But I would strongly suggest that you try posting earlier in the week. This is going to allow for more robust conversation. It's going to allow you to engage with more ideas and get more out of these discussions, right? I'm not saying you have to log in every day and read thoroughly through every comment like I do, but you should be coming in regularly and taking a look and engaging with the ideas. And if you post earlier in the week, that's going to allow for that. Okay, so now let's shift to this coming week, week 4. So this week there's no quiz, there's no discussion forum. Hooray! Maybe. I mean, there's a lot of other work. That's why there's no quiz or discussion forum. So instead, the focus is on this first paper. There's a pretty quick turnaround time between peer editing and final draft for this course, for this paper. So you need to complete the following 5 things this week. So first, number 1, pardon me, there is a journal this week. It's not due until Sunday, the 15th, but I would suggest doing it right away. I would suggest doing it immediately while you're still working on your rough draft. That would be I think, the ideal time to work on this, because this journal is just, you're going to watch a short video about from a professional writer, and she's going to explain a visual model she uses for mapping out stories. And so I just want you to use the same model, or another model. If you really hate her model, that's fine. I just want you to play with visual modeling for your stories. And therefore, because you're plotting out the narrative of your first essay, this might be most useful when you're still composing your first draft, your rough draft of this paper. But not necessarily. Maybe it's still going to be useful if you do it later in the week after you get some feedback on your paper, because you might map it out using some kind of visual model, the one in the video, and then you might think, oh, I need to make some changes to how I'm plotting my own narrative. So, you know, it might be also useful as a revising tool. Okay. Either way, it's due Sunday, and that's this week's journal, focusing on the final paper. The second thing you need to complete is you need to finish a rough draft of the first essay and submit this to the peer editing discussion forum. So we're going to do our peer editing through the discussion forums. I found that it's the best way to work with Canvas. That way you post your paper publicly. You know, if there's like sensitive details, you could always like blank out names or things like that. That's fine. And if you're really getting into something super personal, you can email me and let me know, and we can find a workaround. But for ideally, you'll be posting this to the peer editing discussion forum. We're all adults. We can keep you know, your confidence and such. You have until Tuesday, September 10th, so this coming Tuesday at 11:59 midnight to post your rough draft. Now, I use the word rough draft, but you should think about your rough draft as a first best effort, right? This is your first effort for your final paper. So ideally, this would be a 4-page long rough draft that you're posting to the discussion forum, because it's a 4-page assignment. But you know, 3 pages would be fine as well. Really, just the more you put into this, the more you're going to get out of it. You know, perhaps you're struggling to reach that 4-page requirement. You've written everything and you're racking your brain. Well, sometimes your peer editors can help you. They can say, hey, I don't get it. You know, you need more details about this, or I'd like some more background about this character, or something like that. So the peer editing might help with that process. So regardless of how much you have by Tuesday at midnight, please post what you do have finished. You'll get some credit for it anyways. If you post like 2 or 3 pages, that's fine. If you post less, then maybe you'll get partial credit, but you'll get some credit and you'll get feedback on your ideas, and that's the important part. But you have to post by the Tuesday at midnight because there's a very short turnaround time. So post your rough draft by Tuesday at midnight, and then the third thing you need to do is comment on 2 of your peers' papers. So you're required to post on two papers that you read on this discussion forum by Friday, September 13th at midnight. So that gives us, Tuesday at midnight, that gives us Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, 3 full days for you to go on, read a couple papers and leave some comments. And please, check out the discussion forum, which I've linked below, for specific instructions about what those comments should look like. We're not looking for pages of comments, but, 2 or 3 comments following my instructions that will, help your peer revise that paper into a better project, or what you're thinking about here. So comment on 2 of your peers' papers. As I note in the instructions for the peer editing forum, discussion forum, please try to spread the comments out, right? Don't everybody comment on 1 or 2 people's papers. Try to spread them out so everybody gets a bit of feedback. It's always, kind of sad when someone posts their paper by Tuesday, comments on other people's papers, and then doesn't get any feedback from other people, right? Because, this is a very useful exercise if you can get some feedback, okay? Be nice to each other. Remember, everybody's just still in the writing process. Be constructive, okay? So then number 4, the 4th thing you need to do this week is write your first letter to the reader and submit it, again, by Sunday, the September 15th at midnight. So please wait until you finish the peer editing session before you write this letter to the reader, because you're reflecting on the editing process, and you want to get through all that editing first. The letter to the reader should really be something you're writing as you're finishing your final draft, or maybe even after you finish the final draft of your paper. So please read the instructions for the letter to the reader. In brief, what I'm asking you to do is write 3 paragraphs, 1 page, 3 paragraphs that summarize your paper in the first paragraph. Second paragraph, you should be reflecting on the writing process, the brainstorming you did, why you made the choices you did. Anything you think is relevant is fine, right? Use the first person, be reflective, think about your writing process. And then a third paragraph reflecting on the editing process. What do you find the peer editing session we had here useful? Did you get other people to help you? How did that help? What changes did you make? That kind of stuff. Okay, try to be specific and think about specific issues you were dealing with in your writing and thinking about. Okay, the more specific you are, the more useful this letter is going to be for you. So the whole letter to the reader should be less than 1 page long. It should be 3 brief paragraphs. The point of this assignment is to get you to think about the writing and editing process. I mean, I was a student for many years, and I know that often when we have assignments, we just power through them. We just, okay, I got to get this done, and just sit down and just get it done, and we don't really think about it too much. And this doesn't really help us grow as writers. So this letter is forcing you to take a minute and just reflect a bit. Okay. So the last thing you need to do this week, of course, is revise and submit your final draft of essay number 1. And the due date for that is September 15th at midnight. Okay, so, there's a bunch of stuff to do this week. Hopefully you've already started on the paper, so you're not scrambling at Tuesday at 10 o'clock at night. But, if you're still starting from square one with paper number 1, you still have 2 days to get together a rough draft, and then the rest of the week to do some revision, use some feedback, and get that turned in. So I wouldn't worry either way. There's plenty of time to get it done. Okay, so that's it, I think, for now. Please enjoy the beautiful weather. When I'm filming this, it's still like 1,000,000 degrees outside, so hopefully it's cooled off by the time you watch this video. And if you have any comments or concerns, please email me. I always answer very quickly. Especially during a week when we have a paper due, I'll be very mindful of people emailing me. Okay, thank you very much.